Thanks for joining me today. We are going to take this 2023 Mazda CX-50 and we're going to do the real world mile per gallon challenge. Now the EPA rates this at 23 in the city, 29 on the highway for an average of 25. And what we're going to do is we're going to take it on a 90-mile journey. We're going to fill it up. We're going to drive 45 miles. We're going to turn around and then we're going to come back to the exact same gas station and we're going to fill it up. We'll do our calculations and we'll see if it matches that 25 mile per gallon average that the EPA says it will. And the drive is going to be about 60 miles of highway. It's going to be about 20 miles of in-town driving and about 20 miles on the interstate. And we will be going 5 miles per hour over the speed limit. So 60 on the highway, 75 on the interstate, and then 5 miles over whatever speed it is in the city. That should give us a pretty good average. So I'm gonna walk you around the car real quick and then we'll head to the gas station and get it filled up. So as you can see, this is the Meridian Edition. So it does have the turbo engine in it and it is a beautiful car. This is the zircon sand color. It does have a little bit of a greenish tone to it. I love the black wheels, look really nice. Got lift gate. It is powered and you have a decent amount of space back there. It's actually pretty good size. It's nice. All right, I'll show you the interior real quick. And you can see it's this beautiful terracotta and black. Looks awesome. Way to go, Mazda. Very, very stylish. There's your second row. All right. Well, that's it. Let's head to the gas station, get her filled up, and let's get this test started. Okay, we are going to top this off and we'll get this test started. All right, so we're gonna pull one time. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 seconds. That was a total of 2.5 gallons. At $9. We are getting ready to take off from the gas station here. You see our mileage right there is 6,918 miles. I'm going to hit the trip and I'm sure how to reset this. Maybe I hold it. So let's try holding it. All right, we've reset that trip so we can check that when we get back. We're going to be driving in normal mode. I will check in with you guys periodically and I'll let you know what the miles per gallon is at those intervals. Then we'll come back, we'll fill it up and we'll do our calculations and see what we get. All right, let's go. Okay, we are coming into our first town. And so far we are averaging 28.1 miles per gallon. So that was pretty much all highway. And we'll see what happens as we go through town and go out the other side to see what we get here. There's just like one stoplight through here. So should be a pretty consistent through here, about 35. Actually, we're going 40 because we're going 5 miles per hour over. So far, this handles really well. The seating position is really nice, and it's just a joy to drive. This does have the Mazda radar cruise control, so it is going to adjust our speed. We will try to stay as consistent as possible, but we are doing a real world miles per gallon. So real world is we go with the flow of traffic. A lot of times we have to slow down when we don't want to, but we'll see what our results are when we get done here. Getting out on the edge of town now, and we're going to take a quick look before we start accelerating out of town. And we're at 28.4, so we're not quite to the highway miles per gallon rating, but we are well over the 25 average that the EPA states. So we will accelerate here and we will check back in soon. Nice little Porsche Spider or something, I'm guessing. I'm not positive on my Porsches, but nice little Porsche there. Well, I just kind of wanted to show you guys a little bit more on the inside of this CX-50. I don't know if anybody is thinking about purchasing a CX-50, want to know a little bit more about it. So if you want to see a review of this CX-50, click right up here and that will take you to that video, or you can wait till the end and I will have it linked at the end. Also will be linked in the description. Now, again, we're talking about this miles per gallon test, and so I'm going to run through what we're doing and why we're doing it. So the EPA puts out their estimated numbers, or basically what it is the manufacturers, they go through and they do all the EPA testing, and there's a few different cycles of testing that they could do. Most of the time, they send those numbers to the EPA, and the EPA takes a look at it, sees if they think that's about right or it makes sense compared to other vehicles of the same size, same engine, same type of thing, nothing's too outrageous, and they'll say, okay, yes, and they agree to those numbers. Now, there's other times that the EPA will say, well, we want to test one for ourselves. So they will take one and test one. That normally happens with a new model. But a lot of times with the manufacturers, they are trusted by the EPA because they have a long history, and the manufacturer doesn't want to put out numbers that the car is not going to reach, because then that's just really going to tick us off because we're not getting what we thought we were going to get. But I wonder if we're going to exceed those numbers, and that's what I want to show here, is whether we're going to exceed those or not. And then the other thing is it's real world conditions. So we're doing a little bit of city, a little bit of highway, and a little bit of interstate to check out what that average is. And I don't know exactly the speeds that EPA does it, whether it's 55, 60, what their interstate speed is, but we are going to do ours at 5 miles per hour over, because I did a poll, and on average, most people drive 5 miles per hour out over in the city, on the highway, on the interstate, so that's the numbers that we're going to stick to. And I believe if we are over what the EPA does, they're testing with, then we should come in a little bit under their numbers. But right now, the way things are looking, there's a possibility we might come in well over their numbers. And if that's the case, then that is excellent, and it looks really good for Mazda. It looks really good for the CX-50, and it looks really good in your wallet when you don't have to buy as much gas. That is why we're going to do these tests, and we're going to do this with every vehicle that we get in, just so you guys know what to expect if you decide to purchase one. Okay guys, we are rolling into our next town, and we're going to be at about 35 miles per hour for most of this, but this one does have a lot of stop signs, a lot of stop lights, so that's going to really affect the gas mileage. So right now we are showing, you see in the center of the speedometer, 29.1 miles per gallon. And we have driven 27 miles. If you look down over here, that's our trip. So far we are averaging right at highway EPA. And we'll see what it looks like as we exit town and get onto the interstate. See how much effect driving through town has. Okay, we are getting ready to get on the interstate, and after going through town, we are at 29.2. Of course, we will accelerate generously onto the interstate, just like every normal person does. Go, and here we go. And we'll merge. And we will get up to 75, and we will lock in at 75. And now we are locked in at 75. We're going to be on this road for about 10 miles. We're going to turn around. We'll drive 10 miles back at 75 and then back through town again. All right, I will check in with you guys in just a little bit. I just wanted to fill you guys in on the parameters of this test, and like we talked about earlier, it's 5 miles per hour over the speed limit, whatever the speed limit is. It is about 90 miles. My intention was 100 miles, and the route that I had planned out on Google Maps said 101 miles. But when I ran the first test with the Lexus LC500H, which if you want to see that, that'll be linked in the description. When I ran that one, it actually came back at 90 miles. So I'm not really sure where the extra 10 miles that Google Maps said there was. But so it is a 90-mile test. And mix of highway and interstate. So you got 20 miles of city, you got 20 miles of interstate, and then you got about 60 miles of highway. That should give us a pretty decent mix for a normal person that has to commute to work. And it's more real world. It's like what we do on a daily basis. The other thing is we do set the tire pressure to the manufacturer spec. On this one, it's 36 PSI. And the other thing is with this Meridian Edition, we actually have all-terrain tires on here. So what we get on this here, if you get a CX-50 that is not a Meridian, then you're going to get better gas mileage than that. This also has the 2.5 liter turbo, and so that gives you a little bit more horsepower. Well, about the same horsepower, not a whole lot more horsepower, but you get a lot more torque. So you feel that you have more power. And if you get one of the lower ones without the turbo, you probably are going to get even better gas mileage. I don't know exactly what those specs are, but I'll probably have something like that listed down in the description. Possibly. If not, they're easy to find online. I use cruise control 90% of the time. The only time I don't is when I'm kind of accelerating up to a speed, but I don't like hammer it, and I'm trying to do a gradual increase, but a little more aggressive than what cruise control will do. Because cruise control is usually a little settled down when it's accelerating versus what we actually do with our foot. And I want to try to keep this as legitimate to real world as possible. So, and I hope you guys enjoy these and like to watch these videos with the miles per gallon. If you do, click subscribe, click like, because we're going to do it with all of our cars. Okay, we are coming up on our exit off the interstate. We're going to loop around on that overpass up there and come right back down. So far, we're getting off right here. We are averaging 29.1 on the interstate, dude. This CX-50 is crushing it. We should be sitting at closer to that 25 number, not the 29 number. That is crazy. This is doing very, very well in this test so far, but we could have had a tailwind, and we'll see when we get turned around right here. We get back on the interstate, and we're gonna get right back out there. We'll see if you guys can hear this engine very well whenever I get straightened out here and accelerate. We'll go now. It actually sounds pretty good. All right, so we can hit resume. So we are locked in at 75, and you see 29.1 still. So we'll see if that goes down. We might be going into a headwind right now. It kind of sounds like we are. Sounds like it's a little windier in here, but we'll see, and I will check in with you when we get off the interstate and head back into town. Okay, we are coming up on our exit here pretty quick, and I'm going to show you we are at 28.1 miles per gallon now. We've traveled 60 miles, or almost 60 miles, 59.3 miles. So it's still up above that 25 mark that the EPA rated. So that's awesome. I will take that any day of the week. 28 miles a gallon is excellent, especially when you are traveling. We're getting ready to go through town, and once we do that, we will check in at the end as we get ready to hit the highway, and we will see how much that's went down from driving through town again. All right, here's our exit. So we are heading out of town, and just wanted to show you this. I know you're not gonna be able to see real well because of the sun there, so we're gonna tip down here. Right now we are at 28.4 after going through town, so this is still doing amazing. So we're gonna do a little bit more highway driving. We'll go through another town, and then we'll be back at the gas station. So I will update you as we enter town here in about probably 10 or 15 minutes. So we are just entering town, and now we are at 29.1 miles per gallon. So we're back up over that 29 mark. You can see we've gone 81.4 miles. And yeah, it was just a crazy mix. And I just realized that my math was off earlier because we were going 90 miles on this trip, and I was giving you numbers totaling 100 miles. So it is 20 miles of interstate. I believe it's actually about 15 miles of total city driving. It could be even less than that. And then the highway is right around, somewhere around 50 to 55 miles. So it's a pretty decent mix though still. And we should have decent numbers and about what you should average. So we'll see what happens as we continue through town. But right now it's up to 29.3 now, so it just keeps climbing. It's pretty crazy. out of town. Going back on the highway, and we'll head into our last town where we're going to go to the gas station and we'll top this off and get our numbers. You see right now we're at 29.3, 83 miles. Check back in, and we head into the other town to the gas station. All right, we are entering our last town and head up to the gas station. So we are averaging 29.6 and 91 miles is what this says. So looks like it's been 91 and a half, a little over 91 and a half. And we'll go fill this thing up and let's see how bad it crushed the EPA. This is awesome. All right, let's see what we get here. Okay, here we go. 87. All right. Ready? Here we go. All right, there it stopped. 2.792 gallons. Now we're going to go for a 3-second pull. 1, 2, 3. That's it. So we did that 4-second pull just now, and we ended up with 2.977 gallons. This CX-50 just crushed the EPA average. So the EPA average should have been 25 for the mix. Yeah, our mix is probably not exactly the same. Better real world probably. And we know they want you to hit those numbers. But what it did was it actually surpassed the highway numbers. So when we pulled in here, it was at 29.7. It should have a picture here somewhere up here or on this side or that side or whatever. But anyway, there should be a picture up there of what it was when we got here at 91.7 miles. Now, we put in 2.977 gallons. So that is our receipt right here, 2.977 gallons. And when we divide that 91.7 divided by the 2.977, you get this number right up here, 30.8. 30.8 miles to the gallon on a 100-mile trip through city and interstate. You can't get better than that. Way to go, Mazda. Great job with this vehicle. And if you're interested in this, make sure that you watch this review video right up here and subscribe and like, and I will see you in the next one.